So with the helpline service, I'll start with that. We're starting to see more SPL inquiries come through, and that's from mothers and fathers. And typically that's around stuff about access to shared parental leave, how it works within the organisation, things like discontinuous periods of shared parental leave, but also basic awareness stuff. So there's still quite a lot of awareness issues around shared parental leave. We get a lot of calls from people who are perhaps self-employed, whose partner doesn't work, who really haven't got an entitlement to shared parental leave. So they're asking what they can do in terms of their time off around new babies and children. Interestingly, we're seeing a kind of increasing proportion of fathers ringing the helpline and making inquiries about time off work. But relative to mothers, it's still a small number. So I think it's probably up to around a quarter of our calls now come from fathers, or interestingly from mothers inquiring on fathers' behalves about what leave they might be entitled to. From our research and policy work, our sort of mainstay every year is a big survey we do of 3,000 perhaps the most interesting thing coming out of that is over the last couple of years we've seen a consistent theme of particularly younger fathers feeling frustrated by their opportunities for work-life balance within their organisations. So their expectations seem to be slightly different from older fathers within the organisation, but they're not getting the opportunities they would like for work-life reconciliation, if you like. We tested SPL a little bit in that survey with mixed results, to be honest. I think it's probably fair to say that parents like the idea of SPL, but when confronted with the realities of it, and when we talked to them about things like pay, they became very sceptical their employers would actually do very much about it, and so they thought largely it was a non-starter for them. And then if I just move finally to employers before I finish, what we see from employers really is the kind of picture of implementation, how it's playing out within organisations at the moment, and that's a really mixed bag. So you've got some employers who really get it, and they're in the absolute minority, and they're funding very generously from their own pocket shared parental leave, so they're matching enhanced maternity, sometimes up to 6 months on full pay, but they're very few and far between. And we're seeing a sort of consolidation around 4 patterns of leave where it's enhanced, but you're also seeing quite a lot of employers quite happy to stay with the statutory minimum, not do anything for shared parental leave at all, quite happy really in the knowledge that it's an unrealistic prospect for most of their employees to use. And the other thing that we're quite interested in about employers would be to know more about what's going on, because there's not that much evidence around SPL at the moment. So we'd like to know more, and we'd especially like to know what's going on in small companies. There's a real knowledge gap there. So that's really a kind of whistle-stop tour of what Working Families does and where SPL intersects with our work at the moment. So I think there's a lot more to come out, and it'll be really interesting to hear anyone else's experience of how they see it playing out within organisations at the moment, and whether or not it's working, and what changes they think need to happen along the way. So I look forward to the rest of the day. Thank you.